Hi, in this section we are going to talk about the interface and abstract class. Okay, so first let us look into the interface. And what is an interface? An interface in Java is a blueprint of a class. It has a static constant abstract method, and it is used. This interface and abstract class is used for the abstraction in Java, how to implement the abstraction in Java. So, what is the in technically? What is why we need the interface, and what is meant by blueprint of a class? For example, in our application, if we are creating an application that deal with bank operations. So how do we do that? So bank operations, we are detecting, we are checking the balance, we are detecting amount, we are crediting the amount. So from the bank applications, we have some API to be exposed to our application. So what they will do, for example, they will create an interface, and that interface will have a couple of methods. Okay, that couple of methods will be exposed to us. They won't expose how they deducting the money, how they checking the amount, how they crediting the amount. That we don't know, because that is their logic. There will be some security check and everything is there. That will not be exposed to us. They only will expose what method we supposed to call. So that is they will do through the interface. So there is abstraction is there. That's how the abstraction is achieved by interface and the abstract class. So that is what there is a implementation class will be hidden from the end perspective and end user perspective. Okay, so how do we create an interface in Java? Okay, so for that we have one keyword that's called interface. So I have a couple of interface demo here. So I created one interface. We can do using our Eclipse directly the interface. We can create the interface for package. We can create the package class for we can option. We have the class interface. We will have interface. We'll go different options will be available. If you select the interface, we can give the interface name, and if we click the finish, it will create automatically the interface for us. So how, what is the difference? The interface keyword for class, it will be class. For interface, the keyword will be interface. Okay, so the interface have, as we told, that is a blueprint for the class. So the class, whoever is implementing this interface, supposed to, or they should do, implement this particular method. Okay, so by default in interface, it will be public and abstract. We don't need to specify. If you specify explicitly, we specify, that's okay. If you explicitly didn't expose this one or written this, declare this one, by compiler it will automatically do that, will do the addition, the public and abstract for us. So if you declare public abstract, that's fine. If you didn't do, that will automatically declared from the, when we compile the code, it will automatically added by the compiler. Okay, so that's one method declaration. What is the difference? In generally in a class, we do the we do what we can say that we do define the method will be, there will be method body will be there. See, if we see look into the syntax, there is no body at all for this method. It is simply we are declaring the name, the what is the return type, and what is the method name, and if there is a parameter, we will show that or we will add, declare that parameter list. If not, it will be empty list, then semicolon. This is how the syntax of the declaration. We don't need to uh, implement, or we don't need to declare or define anything here other than that, but then method body will not be there. Okay, for in the case of constant, if you do void index equal to 10, in interface also we can declare or define the constants. So these constants always will be final, public final. If you declare the explicitly declare, it's okay. If you didn't declare, that's automatically compiler will be appended that one for us. So it's not a matter at all if you define or not define. So this is also we can achieve. In Java 8, in the latest version of the Java 8, there is a concept called default method. Okay, what is the default method in the interface? In previous sections, previous version of the Java, there is no concept for that. Okay, so there is a concept called default method implementation. Okay, so why do we need this one in interface level? Because whoever is implementing this particular class, particular interface, they will get automatically implemented method. So the default method is defined like using the keyword default and what is the return type and the test, then whatever the logic it is that we are executing. Okay, so whoever is implementing this interface, they all will get this particular default method by default itself. So they will, everybody will have the common default method will be there. Okay, so let's see what is the I have one implementation. I have created one interface implementation class. I'm going to implement interface demo 1. So to implement an interface, we using the keyword by implements. In if you do the subclass in a class level, what we are using the keyword that is extends. For class creating the subclass by class, we are use the keyword extends. Whereas if you want to implement interface, we use the keyword implements. We can see that there is an error is listed out here. What is the error it is? Here it is saying that the inherited abstract method should be must implement here. Here we have this method. This is abstract one. If we didn't explicitly define the abstract, but it is abstract method, so that we need to implement here. See, we implemented that method here, so there is no error at all. Okay, so there is a so this way we can say that whoever is implementing the interface, they must implement the particular methods defined this one. So there is a strong relationship, or we can say that it is compelled that you should implement this particular method. Okay, so there is a strong agreement between the interface and the implementing class. Okay, so I'm just creating one main method. So here I want to access, so I'm creating the interface IMPL. See, you can see that there is a one method is there, that is a test. This test is the default method, so that default method is accessible here as well. See, if I run this one, you can see interface demo one, where it is printed from the this particular default method. Okay, in Java we are not able to inherit, I mean there is no multiple inheritance, it's not possible. Okay, so if we, what is the mean by multiple inheritance? For example, there is a one class is there. For example, I will demo right here. Class A is there, class A, and class B, and class C. Here class C, what is by inheritance? Inheritance means create a subclass of particular class, right? So I'm extends. How to create the subclass? By using extends keywords. I'm using A. Correct. I cannot create multiple inheritance. I mean, I cannot extend multiple class here. So you can see that it complaining about that, you are not able to do that, correct? So one, but you can do if you want it to. So this is what multiple inheritance you cannot do, but you can do a multi-level inheritance. What does that mean by multi-level inheritance? For example, if this is extends A, and here if extends B, this is a multi-level. What does that mean by C is extended B, B extended A? So this is a multi-level, first level, second level, third level. So this is a multi-level inheritance. Okay, so this is a multiple inheritance is not possible. What is mean by multiple inheritance? I cannot inherit two classes, A dot B, A comma B. I cannot do that. But instead of that, I can do multi-level inheritance. Okay, so there will be issue in here as well. So for example, in interface, I can implement multiple implement. I can implement. Multiple. I can implement multiple interface by comma separated. Interface demo 2. Okay. Demo 1 is then demo 2. I'm just for the time being, I'm just commenting it out. So you can see that here it is a print method is there, and here it is a show method is there, and in this one I already implemented only one, so I need to implement the unimplemented method from the interface 2, that is show. So everything I implemented here, correct? I'm just putting down here. Okay, so I implemented both classes, so I can do multiple interface. I can be implement in a single class. Okay, for example, if I have this void show class is there here, and here in interface 2 I don't have the void show. For example, if I have the void show also here, what will happen? Nothing changed, right? There is no issue at all, because void interface 1 and interface 2 has the show method, correct? That what by the definition, by the rule, what is the rule? And these two interface also implemented by the interface, implementation class. One class is implemented these two. So what is the rule? Whatever the interface it has, interface 1, interface 2, those methods should be implemented. So show here it is declared show, and here it is also declared show. But what they're supposed to do? They need to implement that only one time. No need of two times. Only one time the show method should be implemented here. That's done here, correct? So that is agreement, correct? In whoever is implementing the interface 1 and interface 2, they should implement that. So they implemented. There is no complaining about it. But there is a one test default method is there. Here there is a one. So that test method is accessed by here, directly here. If you run this method, there is no issue at all. And if we have this default test method, which means if two interface has same default method, so there will be confusion, correct? Here it will be confusion. In implementation class, there will be confusion. What is the confusion here? In interface 1, these two are implemented, right? This particular interface implementation class implemented two classes. Which test will be executed? For example, in here this is printed as an interface 2. Here it is printing as an interface demo 1. Here it is interface demo 2. So in implementation class, which test will be executed? So there will be ambiguity. Which means compiler doesn't know from which statement supposed to print. From either it is from interface demo 1 or interface demo 2. So this is called a diamond problem. Okay, in Java this is called diamond problem. In multiple inheritance as the diamond problem. So how to solve it? So one way to solve it in the class is the multi-level inheritance. But here we can achieve this here by we have to implement this particular default method. What is the default method? Void test. So void test, we have to, I'll tell you one void test. It will again complain one thing about this. It will complain about its access specifier. See, cannot reduce the visibility of inherited method from the interface one. What is my here? Do we explicitly mention anything here? Access, what is access specifier? In previous video we talked about access specifier, private, public, protected, etc. Correct? So here by default we told that it is a public. Okay, so here if you didn't mention anything in method declaration, if you didn't declare one of them, correct, private, protected, public, if you didn't, means that is a default one. Default means it is a less, I mean restrictive one, right, as compared to public. So we need to sure that this is a public void, correct. So this public void means it is a equivalent to the visibility like means here it is a public, so it should not be less restrictive than the whatever it is there. Okay, so by default it is a public, correct. So it is, there is no complaint at all. So what will happen here, this interface will call this particular test, which test method, whatever be the implemented, correct. So both interface has the default method, default what we can say default method is here, in that we override here by using in here. In order to avoid, we need to call one of the interface method, right. So how do we do for that? To solve the diamond problem, we can do interface demo1 dot super dot test. Now if we run this, it will call interface 2. Similarly, we can do interface demo2 dot super dot test. See, this is how we can solve the diamond problem in the interface. Okay, so this is what all about the interface. So interface is used for the blueprint for a particular class. In interface there will be a abstract methods and variables. Also in Java 8 always there will be default method. Okay, why this default method is introduced in Java? For example, if we suddenly if we add one method, so the backward compatibility will be the issue, correct. So already if for example, if already in old versions there will be one interface will be there, that will be implemented by 10 classes. If we add one method in the interface level, for example, we added one method like show, the 10 classes supposed to be changed. So the backward compatibility will be very difficult because it should implement in 10 classes. So 10 classes supposed to be modified. So in order to reduce that complexity, they introduced the default. So if you add the default method, there is no need of adding or changing the 10 existing class. The newest class, 11th class, they can directly access this particular method. So for the backward compatibility, they implemented this default method. Okay, now let us go to, so we talk about all these topics. Now let's go to what is meant by abstract class. In our previous video, we talk about non-access modifier, that is one of them is the abstract. So in what is meant by abstract class? The abstract class is also used for keeping one class always a super class, which means it cannot be, see, an abstract class must be declared as an keyword. So how do we declare an abstract class as abstract? So using the keyword as abstract, and can have abstract and non-abstract methods. So inside, so once we declare a class as abstract and it has the class, right, so it can have methods. The methods may or may not be an abstract class. Okay, and it cannot be instantiated. An abstract class cannot be directly instantiated. Then why the abstract class is required? So this abstract class is required always to keep as a super class. So in order to use this class, you need to create a subclass of that one and then use it and create an instance of the subclass. and then it can have the constructor and static methods also. It can have final methods which will force the subclass not to change the body of the one. Okay, so how we can go through example here to for better understand. So this is the one abstract class. So how do we create the abstract class? So by using the abstract keywords. So when I defining a class, we will add the abstract keyword. So which in compiler will come to know this is an abstract class. Okay, here what I have one variable that is a private one, and I have the one I constructor of this particular class, and also constructor with the parameter, and here is initializing, and I have one method that is the abstract. So without, if you see that in generally in class, what will be method syntax? Method syntax will have the body, right? What is might be that if I create void test, it cannot declare like this, correct? It will complain where is the method body. So we need to have the method body like this, then only it will be we can combine this code. So if you do like this, the implementation is done here, correct? So but if you do the abstract, if you make this abstract, we don't need to define that we don't need to implement that one. We just declare it. Whoever is implementing or inheriting this class, they have to implement that method. So the implementation is not here, we are just to declare that one. Okay, so I have one implementation class of this one. So how do we implement, I mean implement this one by using the extends keywords. Extends keywords abstract class. So it will complain as I'm using this Eclipse, it is complaining while coding itself, telling that it's the abstract class implementation must implement the inherit abstract method. What is the abstract method? Is the abstract method nothing but print method. This is the print method. So if you do that print method, everything is perfect. Okay, so I'm just printing abstract impl print method. Okay, I have my main method. Okay, and I'm creating abs dot print. Perfect. You can see that abstract class, while creating the object, what will happens, it doesn't have any constructor, default constructor, correct? So what will happen, this is called, we can say that in constructor chaining. What is mean by constructor chaining? See, I created an object of particular abstract class. So what will happen, it will call its a default method or constructor. See what it mean by default constructor. In Java, every class will have a constructor without parameter. What is mean by, if you do like this, this is the default constructor without parameter, one constructor. If I define this default constructor in implementation. Okay, see, if I do this, what will happen, this abstract implementation class will try to create, will call the its method, it's a default method. So I explicitly here I written the constructor. If I didn't declare or define this constructor, it has by default one constructor will be called. Okay, so here as I explicitly call, what will happen? The compiler will check into whether this class extended any other class. Yes, it is extended this class. So it will try to call its abstract method. I mean, it's a default method, default constructor. What is its default constructor? This is its default constructor. Okay, so if again this particular class is extended any other class, so prior to initializing this class object, it will try to call the superclass. It will try to call the superclass constructor. So this is what called constructor chaining. So what will happen is here, so first we'll call in this IMPL class, I'm trying to create an abstract class IMPL. So it will call its default method, default constructor. In before trying to writing this one, it will call its superclass default constructor. As it doesn't have any other class, it will run this one. So it will print this default interface. Yeah, you can see here default class interface. Then it will come to execute this particular statement. This is default class implementation. After that, so everything is executed. Object is created. After that, this will call to print. This is print method. So here you can see that this is also similar to interface. Correct. So what is the difference between this abstract class and the interface? Basically, so the difference we can see is, we can say that in interface there is no constructor. So in every constructor, what is the difference? Every constructor, if I mean if there is a constructor, means we can initialize this parameters. What is the parameter means? If you do the create the object, the parameter will be the state of the object, correct? So here we can say that in each object in interface, I mean abstract class level itself, each object has state will be different depending on the object we create the object, correct? If there is a, for example, if abstract class has, see, the name is there, name will be there. So what will happen if I'm creating one abstract class with the parameter string name? So what will happen here? I'm calling superclass constructor. How do we call the superclass constructor? Using the super keyword. Super keyword means, so what will happen? It will call the super constructor, superclass constructor, correct? And it will print. So I'm here passing Binay. Okay, and I'm printing the Binay is a private, maybe that's the reason it's not available here. Let's check. Yes, this is a private. So I'm just making for this public. This is not good practice, but for the timing to understand. And again I'm creating another object. It's abs1. Just understand, put abs1, abs1, and it's John. Let's execute. See, you can see that two objects are initialized with the two different values. So here we can say that what's the difference between the interface and abstract class means each object has the different state, correct? Different state means the variable value. So if the variable value is different, means the state of the object will be different. So this is one of the difference we can say that between the abstract class and interface. Both are used for achieving the abstraction in the object-oriented programming concept. So these are the um, way to difference, and these are the way to create the abstract class and interface. Thank you.
If you like the video, please click the like button and subscribe for more videos.